So in this picture, we have two hills. We have the hill in the background, and then we have a hill in the foreground. I want my hills to be the same color, just so that people know that's what they are. So in my background hill, I started with light green. So I'm going to choose to start my next one with dark green, so that way people know that it's not the same as the back hill. So even though I'm using the same two colors, I'm going to switch the pattern. My first pattern went light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. This pattern is going to go dark, light, dark, light, dark, light. Even by doing something so simple as changing the pattern of your colors will really change the way that your picture turns out and looks. So I've outlined my hill and around my trees with dark green, and my pattern continues with light green. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do the trees, just because there are 3 trees in only one building, and I want my trees to all be the same color. That way, whoever's looking at my picture will be able to quickly go, oh, those are all the same colors, those must be trees. The same reason why I chose to do both of my hills the same color, and both sides of my sun for my sky also the same color. That way when people look at them, they're not getting confused as to what it is and why the colors change. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the trees. The only thing that I'm going to say that I'm going to recommend and ask you to do is the bottom of your trees can just be a solid black. And the reason for that is we want them to stand out and be different from everything, so that people know that they're the trunks of the trees. And it's going to help us when we are choosing colors for the top. So make sure that you do the trunks of your trees black, please. That's going to be the only time that I tell you what color to be using. So I've used green, I've used blue and purple, I've used orange and yellow. So I want to stay away from those colors because I've already used them. So I want to look and see if there's any color combinations that I haven't used. I know that I have not used too much orange. I used a little bit of it, and I have not used pink yet. So I'm going to go ahead and do my trees. Pink and orange is a new color combination that I haven't used a lot of yet. So since I have not used pink, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go around the outside of my tree. And for this one, I'm going to make all of my trees the same because I want to know what it's going to look like. and then I can decide if I want to change later on. So I'm going to go pink, I'm going to do orange, and my middle will go back to being pink. Again, right now we're starting to use lots of different colors, which is great when you look at an Undervossen painting. There is color everywhere. So I'm okay with you using every single color that you have in front of you today. The last thing we want to do is make something camouflage, so we definitely don't want to do any more green because our two mountains, our two hills, have lots and lots of green, and maybe yours has lots and lots of red or yellow or purple. So for my house, I want to make sure that the bottom of my house is different than the top of my house. That way when people are looking at it, it's very easy for them to go, there's the bottom, there's the roof. So I'm going to start with the bottom because it's so simple. I have not used the magenta, and I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pair it up with purple. I know that I've used purple up in the sky, but I didn't use a lot of it, so I'm going to go ahead and use magenta and purple. And I'm going to go ahead, and because the bottom of my house is stripes, my patterns of lines are going to be stripes. So I'm going to do magenta, and then I'm going to do purple, and then I'm going to use magenta, and then I'm going to use purple. Just a real quick reminder before we finish off with the roof. These are the colors I chose. If you want to use the same colors that I used, by all means, go ahead. But if you do not want your sky to be blue and purple, please pick any colors that are in the box that you want. The only thing you have to be doing is you have to be making it a 2-color pattern, and the trunks of your trees need to be black. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to the top of my house, and although I used yellow once, I'm going to use it again, and I'm going to pair it with a color that I didn't use a whole lot of, and I'm going to go ahead and use red. So the top of our roof is a shape, so I'm going to outline my shape. And then switch colors. And now I went from red to yellow, so for the next shape I'm going to switch it, and I'm going to go yellow, red. Switching up colors, switching up patterns is going to make your artwork very interesting to look at, and people are going to sit and stare at it for a very long time. So I'm going to go back to red first, and finish off with yellow. So here's where we usually stop, and here's where most kids want to be finished. They've colored it in, they're done, they don't want anything else to do with this project. But we watched that video about Austin's butterfly, and we've learned that just because you've done something once and you like it, definitely doesn't mean that it's your best. So for the rest of class, I want you to color another one, and if you get done, you have 2 more on the back. So I want you to do as many as you can today. That way at the end of class, you can choose which one is your favorite, and then that will be the one that we go ahead and use the yarn with. Please make sure that you are making changes. You are not going to do the same sky. So you're going to go ahead up and change all the colors that you have. Maybe pick some colors that you wouldn't think that you would like and just see what happens. Maybe there are some colors that you wish you would have switched in the first one. Now is the time to make that change to see if you like something different. So for the rest of class, color as many of these pictures as you can. Again, your goal is not to be done during these worksheets. Your goal is to get